Alright, I'm back. I'm sorry it's been a while. Yeah, the NBA playoffs have started, the greatest competition in basketball, the NBA playoffs. So, first round of games has happened on the Saturday, and obviously, being your UK expert for basketball, I watched every single game. Yeah. So throughout this entire playoffs, I'm going to break down every single game as we go, day by day, to tell you my opinion on the games. So the first game of the evening was the Milwaukee Bucks against the Indiana Pacers, which was a game I didn't expect it to go the way it did, to be fair. I mean, we didn't get a supernatural Tyrese Halliburton performance. We didn't even get an unbelievable Pascal Siakam performance. He played well, but he didn't play absolutely amazing. We got a decent Giannis Antetokounmpo performance, but my main thing with Giannis Antetokounmpo is sometimes he has these flashes in his head. He's obviously one of the greatest players ever. He's a top 20 player ever. But he has these flashes in his head where he doesn't handle the ball correctly. He wants to be the ball handler. He wants to be something he isn't. Now, I know Damian Lillard was not on the court, and the Milwaukee Bucks were missing that. But a player like Giannis Antetokounmpo, who can, purely off of his own gravity, can get 10 assists in a game, 11 assists in a game, 12 assists in a game, purely off his own gravity. But when you're giving now Giannis the rock, you end up with a game like this where he gets 1 assist to 5 turnovers, where he's not in the rhythm and flow of his own game because he's constantly having to dish out the rock, constantly having to give the ball away. And that's, I think, the problem with the performance we saw today with Giannis Antetokounmpo. And obviously, once again, Giannis just doesn't hit his free throws. I don't know what it is. I don't know how he's going to solve it, but he shot like 8 for 15, I think, from the free throw line, which is just above 50%, which isn't good enough for a player like him who goes to the line. Like, we saw 15 times he went to the line, and he only made 8 of them. Not good enough. But the Pacers came away with the win in game 1, and that led on now to what I think was the best game. Yeah, probably the best game in this first day of playoffs, the Clippers against the Denver Nuggets. Now, I was watching this game and I saw the Clippers go on a 15-point lead, and I said, I know what Nikola Jokic is in the third quarter. I know Nikola Jokic turns around and says, this is my team. I am about to move mad. And he moved mad. I don't like the fact, Nick Alderman, I don't know if this is just a you copying Mike Malone thing, but I don't like the fact that the big doesn't guard the big. You've got Zubac being guarded by Aaron Gordon. Doesn't really work in that sense because Zubac will just body him down. He's tall, like 7'2", big Zoo. Jokic guarding Kawhi, no. Kawhi Leonard will fry him every single time. You know, Jokic is a drop coverage player, and how are you playing drop coverage with one of the best mid-range shooters in the league? A player that can knock down a 3. He's not going to drive to the hole every single time. Drop coverage doesn't always work, so you have to have, in this sense, a big with a big. It's simple as. But Jokic I still think was fantastic. I think he got 29, 9 and 11. And I think this game fully summarizes the Russell Westbrook experience. So, Russell Westbrook, one of the greatest players ever, top 5 point guard ever, MVP in 2017, averaged a triple-double 3 times in his career. But Russell Westbrook has got the bozo gene. Now, the bozo gene for me, I'll give you a definition. The bozo gene is a gene imprinted inside some players' brains that makes them act up at random moments in an NBA game. With Russell Westbrook, we saw him hit down the clutchest of clutch threes, wide open 3, but we know Russell Westbrook is a streaky shooter and he hasn't really got into rhythm at that point, but he was playing right, just hadn't got rhythm from the 3-point line. But he knocked down that 3, and then Denver had a shot to win the game at the end, and he just didn't shoot the ball. He just didn't shoot the ball. I know he didn't trust his 3-pointer, but he just knocked down a 3 before. I know you have to be confident in your shot before you shoot it, but it's not like they're going to get the ball back and score. Shoot, bro. And so that bozo came in, and then towards later on in the game, he had a mad deflection onto James Harden that won them the ball back, and they ended up winning the game. So I think fully summarizes the Russell Westbrook experience this game. The next game was the Detroit Pistons against the New York Knicks, in a game in which we saw in the fourth quarter the Detroit Pistons being 8-point up, and we saw a 21-0 run from the New York Knicks, and I think that's just playoff experience. You can't take your foot off the gas at any moment in the playoffs. These players have nothing else to lose this season. You're not going to go over the top in the playoffs and what's next? You are eliminated. There's no reason for them not to keep going until the final whistle. So yeah, I have no idea why the Pistons took their foot off the gas. It was a good game from Tobias Harris and Malik Beasley. They were knocking down threes. It was decent. I saw Thompson played great against Jalen Brunson initially, but one thing about Jalen Brunson you have to understand is he will not stop. We know what he is. We know how he plays. Cade Cunningham in his playoff debut was rubbish, but he managed to get 21 and 12. I still don't think he played well though. Took some dumb shots, really contested shots. I think you need to get into rhythm when it's your first couple playoff games until you can become amazing. I think that's what we saw from Paolo Banchero last season. He had to get into rhythm, then he was good in the playoffs, and I think Cade Cunningham needs that affordability to be able to get better and better until he's a good playoff player as well. But yeah, poor from the Detroit Pistons. Finally, we had the Minnesota Timberwolves against the Los Angeles Lakers, and I will say, LeBron James, delegate. I don't understand why LeBron James has this incessant need to be the best player on his team. Luka Doncic is better than you. Luka Doncic should have the ball on 90% of plays. Even Austin Reeves couldn't get into rhythm because every single play it became horns straight, top of the key to LeBron. It became screen, top of the key to LeBron. It became back screen, LeBron in the post. It was constantly to LeBron, so Austin Reeves never got into rhythm, and Austin Reeves didn't play well. I will say though, Anthony Edwards, you had an okay game. I think you shot 8 for 22, which is okay. It's not amazing, but okay. I think you got like 22 points. But when you broke Rui Hachimura's ankles, I swear to God, I screamed. It was like 2 a.m. here in the UK, and I screamed. I love Rui Hachimura, that's my guy, you know, as a Wizards fan. But God, you didn't have to do him like that, bro. 100, you ain't have to do bro like that. But yeah, the Minnesota Timberwolves take game 1 despite a great performance from Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic was absolutely flames in the first quarter, and in the third and fourth he was okay as well. Second, it wasn't as good. But hey, we know what Luka Doncic is. Luka Doncic is the second highest points per game scorer in playoff history. And I don't think we give him enough credit for just how much he elevates his game in the playoffs. But yeah, that wraps up today's game. I think right now it's 4:20, which means in an hour 40 minutes the Grizzlies game starts with OKC, so it's going to be tomorrow a whole load of other games for me to review, and I will let you know my opinions. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, people, and I'll see you, man, in a bit.